Are you ready, people? What's happening? It's Thursday. Hello? Hello, everybody. What's going on? What's the game? What's the story? What's the tale? Why am I frozen? Alright, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. This is crazy. Uh, are you ready? Well, I'm not. Something's wrong with the screen. The money for this. Alright, people. Let's see if I can fix this problem. This is good. Hopefully, okay, we're doing a little better right now. So sorry about that. Uh, been having a lot of problems. All right, I'm not going to get into much of who I am, what I am, where I'm from, and all that stuff. Let's just get into the facts. It's 2022. Does that mean anything to anybody? What year were you born? How old are you? It should, because you only have 125 years to live. Deduct whatever it is from that now, and that's how much longer you can live if you live to the fullest. But then we got people like, uh, I'm not going to say names, I'm going to leave it up to you, the second richest person on the planet who wants to pay scientists to find a way to keep people alive forever. Well, good luck with that one. All right. Now, I go online. I'm in about a bunch of sites. I get about 120 emails a day. And every one of them, it seems like if they're not asking an important question, they're asking a very stupid question. And to me, stupid is if you don't know anything, don't really care, don't decide to look up information or find it. Don't ask a dumb question. The information's out there. There's a lot of information on anything I'm going to talk about right now tonight. It's not going to be a long show, but basically, you need to be aware of what's going on. All right, we're really close to a war. Are you following what's going on in the war? Well, it's fake. Oh, everybody's programmed to believe just about everything you hear is fake. There's real and fake. Sure, there's some fake things out there, but there's a lot of real things going on. Anything outside the box is considered fake, false news. I'm telling you, everything you hear is not false news. Let me just open up the chat room. Sorry. All right. This is night show. I usually don't do it this time of the hour, but it seems like everything's going crazy. And I just got too many emails today asking ridiculous questions, saying ridiculous things. They don't know anything. Are they seriously about trying to get the information, or they just feel like talking to themselves, or they just want to try to make somebody else look like an idiot? All right. Let's start with something really, really important. All right. It's called UN Agenda 21 30. I'm not going to explain it in detail. You need to go online, find out what it is, when it started, what it means, and what's going to happen over the next couple of years. And something is happening already. We're in stage 4. So put that into the information that you find, and you'll understand what's going on right now with everything that's happening with the virus and airfare, gas, you name it. All of it will fit into that. All right. Is it real? Of course it's real. Do they want you to know about it? No. Nobody wants you to know that. 193 countries agreed on that years ago. And that's why it's 2021, 21-30. It should be over and completed by that 2030. So if you don't understand what's going on with the planet, the weather, the climate, everything else, you need to know the truth. And here's what's amazing. All those people talking about the weather and how it's being affected, plastic and this, that, and the other thing, they're not talking about anything really important. What's going on and what's really causing it. Do you want to live in dreamland? Do you want to understand what's going on or not? Do you want to look at the things that are covered up, squashed? See that picture in back of me? That was it. That's in Denver Airport. There was 4 murals, super gigantic murals like that. The one show you all these women holding their babies and all kinds of weird stuff happening. They were all over the airport, and they had a giant metal ring in the floor that said, and I'm not lying about this, U.S. Air Force New World Order. In steel, about 40 feet wide in a circle, and it was right in front of the ticket place where they had a triangle, glass triangle with all these trophies and president pictures and everything else in there. And if you don't know what UN World Order is, you need to follow and find out what that means. All right, for an airport to say that openly, thousands and thousands of people walked over that every day. The same as thousands and thousands of people saw that picture every day, and the other ones. There was 4 murals on the wall. Each one was a different race. showing a particular baby of that race in the coffin. How do you know? All the symbols of a tribe were around it, whether it was Jewish, Indian, whatever. The symbols were all around the coffin while they showed you the child inside the coffin. They were relocated to downtown, down under the base. The base is immaculate. I mean, it's super incredible. If you understand and you go over to Denver Airport and you drive around it, you're going to see miles and miles of stones on top of the ground. Well, when they blasted out the tunnels there, they had to move the stones out there. But that was a long time ago. The technology they use now has to do with laser. They create a tubular tunnel and they don't have to move debris. So it makes it that much easier to create tunnels. And if you don't know this, pull up some old series of Jesse Ventura's shows. He broke all that information out many, many years ago. He was taken off the air, I think, in his 4th year. He exposed so many things while he was on the show. A friend was doing the show with him, talking about one of the most dangerous weapons on the planet. And Jesse goes to him, "Aren't you afraid the government's going to kill you?" He says, "No, I work for the government." And then Jesse Ventura says, "Well, what about me?" He said, "Well, you don't have to worry. You're mainstream. They can't take you out." 2 days later, this person, Fred Bell, was found dead in his hotel room. Didn't even get to leave after doing the show. All right. Good friend, good writer, incredible writer. He worked with Billy Meyer and that whole aspect. He worked with the aliens as well. But his book is one of the most important books if you want to read a book about what's going on for real, how ships work, everything. He described everything in that because he was involved with creating the HARP system. HAARP, HARP system. All right. It's the most deadliest weapon on the planet. He went into the White House talking to people inside there, and the one was responsible for what they're doing with it. And he said, "Why would you create something to do that?" And the guy inside the White House, I don't know what was his name, but he said, "Well, we didn't know what we were going to do with it yet. Now that they know what they're going to do, I will tell you something simple. It has to do with chemtrails. It has to do with a signal and vibration and an aurora borealis, which it produces if it hits water. There's a lot of things about it that make it known if you don't believe in it. But what it really does, you're not going to find too much of that information. 25 years ago, I was working for the phone company, and I found out about it. I called up the White House, and they asked me my address and everything, right? That within 2 days, I got a package, 50 pages in there, talking about the HARP system, saying that it's okay. It's nothing. It's just testing on simple little things, which was a lie then. All right? People, you're being conditioned, programmed. All right? By who? By what? You need to find those things out. Why? Again, UN Agenda 21 is the main reason. Now, the New World Order, who actually controls all of Denver Airport, if you look at the symbols, the horse outside with the blue eyes, all right, why it doesn't have a solid roof, and why everything inside circular and all that, originally had these conveyor belts going around the airport for skis. And you never saw skis in there. But there was reasons for all of it. The walkway that you walked through was really long, concrete walls, and they had sprinkler systems down both sides of it. Why would you put a sprinkler system down a concrete wall? Is it going to put the concrete out? No. All right, I'm not going to go into that whole story because it's true, but it's not mine, and I don't have to tell you about it. You need to read about it, find out about it. Go there yourself, see what murals are still on the wall, what ones they took down. You can pull some of them up online. All right. On the second floor, there's a little tiny plaque about yo big. It says U.S. Air Force New World Order, and it's on top, and it's still there. They didn't remove that. They removed where this flooring steel circular thing that said that. They removed that and put a fountain over it. All right. I was there. I saw it. I had pictures of it. My camera was screwed up, and my computer was crashed. I mean, they took everything out of it, all the pictures I had. I was probably the only person on this whole planet that had pictures of it. The book, Behold the Pale Horse, he wrote all about Denver Airport. he didn't put the pictures in there of it. All right, which was probably critical because most people don't understand anything about the New World Order. Just in case you don't know, they have to tell you what they do before they do it. All right? They can't just do something, they got to tell you. They don't care if you listen to them when they tell you. They don't have to make sure you know what they say, but they do have to tell you. It's a part of their spiritual law for them. Denver Airport. Now, underneath Denver Airport, there's underground tunnels. They start in New Jersey. They go across the United States. They go outside of the United States as well. Do you believe it? You don't have to. You're not going to believe a lot of this stuff because you're being programmed to believe that everything's fake. Everything's not real. When they showed President Bush and his father during a ceremony, which they do once a year, all right, people don't believe it. If they did, they didn't care. Somebody put it up online, the video. It was smuggled out. They were on the second floor and filmed it. A short segment where they were walking by with the skull and they had this girl on the table. For real. A real video. All right. And nothing was ever said or spoken about it afterwards. All right. So there's proof if you look hard enough. You can find a lot of things that are much more important than what you think you're working on. Oh, this is important. I just listened to a bunch of scientists and explorers, researchers talking about things. And when I hear things, I can tell myself whether it's real or not, whether it's true or not, what it's based on. Right. Now, you have to understand in the beginning of the human race, it wasn't one race. It wasn't just one particular race. We didn't come from the black people. Black people didn't come from the red people. Red people didn't come from the white people. All right. They're coding themselves together now, but it wasn't like that in the beginning. The oldest true place on this planet that was the most important place that ever existed, ever, in all of our history, was Atlantis. Now, Plato and people like that, when they talked about it, it was kind of an idea, kind of a fantasy, kind of truth, but most people didn't believe it. Atlantis was the only time planet Earth was actually living in the Garden of Eden. It was destroyed, and it was destroyed by alien races. Don't believe any of this. You don't have to. You don't have to believe anything. You want to believe that everything else is a lie, believe everything I say is a lie, then don't even listen. You don't need to. Go to TikTok or one of those places and listen to the stuff they put up on there and watch the things. You might laugh and get a joke out of it, but are you going to get any truth about anything important? Where are you going to be when the disaster hits? What disaster? Revelation talks about the disaster. A lot of the psychics come out with stories about what's going to happen. If you know anything about Lady of Fatima, she came out with the prophecies, and she gave the last one to the Pope, and he supposedly opened it a couple years ago. And he won't tell you what it really says, because people will not accept that. They don't accept the Catholic religion. Don't accept a lot of the things he says and are doing right now. For instance, he said Adam and Eve is a fake story. He said hell doesn't exist. And he's trying to rewrite the Constitution, two of the Constitution. Sorry about that. All right, the Ten Commandments. And while that's happening, he created a word last year, which is going to be a temple built today, this year, called Christmas, Christmums, meaning a church of Christ for Muslims and Christians. All right. You heard the word Jewish, Christian, and all these other words. They mix them together because they leave one religion to get into another one, which is fine. But are you getting into anything better than what you were just in? Everything you hear, everything you assume, everything you know is probably a lie. Well, 2 and 2 equal 4. I built the house. All right. Now, what's it have to do with pyramids, aliens, time travel? death, reincarnation, any of that fit into it? No. They can't teach you that because there's very few people that know anything really about it. Sure, there's two paths, PHATH, that talk about you need to learn. One is Shab Yoga, and the other one's Ekankar. Don't get pulled into the religions themselves. Learn the simple techniques, find one that works, and then work with that. You'll find the truth that's inside yourself. You're not going to find it anywhere else. All right. Now, when we talk about religions, there's over 2,000. I started talking about this yesterday, but I'm going to keep that a little more on the spiritual side. For a word, truth of death, reincarnation, and all those kind of things. I'm more concerned today getting you to understand you're being programmed that everything's a lie. The Republicans and Democrats are two evil companies fighting, not evil, sorry I used the wrong word, two different groups of people with totally different ideas. In a boxing match, two people fighting each other with different ideas. They both can be praying to the same God and still expect to beat the other person up. And it's accepted, people. Why? I mean, even in hockey, when they start hitting each other and things like that, why is it accepted? Or they get punished? No. It's if you hit somebody with a hockey puck or a stick or anything, that's a jail sentence, a crime. You should be sentenced in the court of law. Well, we'll take points off, we'll make them sit down. No, it's not an accident. You could watch when they get into fights. Fighting should not be part of any sport. Not boxing, not wrestling. It should not be legal to be in a sport. Sports are only taking money away from people that are bored with life, they have nothing else to do. How much money did the fight 2 years ago? I guess there were two Spanish people fighting. They both made $150 million. And I'm not talking about the money the company's promoting the fight, promoting the shows, the videos, and everything else about it. All that money for what? Two people beating each other up. That's society. That's our belief. And it gets worse, which I'm going to try to help you understand today. Now, there's a new word that the UFO world is using. It's called experiences. It's replacing the word abducting, being abducted, or abductees that have been abducted. All right? What does that mean? It means taking out of your house, brought on a ship while things are done to you, and then you're put back home in your bed. Sometimes. All right, what do you understand about that? Anything? If it didn't happen to you, you probably don't believe anything about it. And I'm not going to say you should or you shouldn't. I prove everything I accepted or whatever myself. I didn't have to prove a lot of things. They were pushed on me. Aliens, Bigfoot, all those kind of things. I didn't want to learn about them at the time when I learned them. It started when I was 6 years old. I wasn't ready for it, or at least I didn't think I was. But I knew what to do in the situation. And mankind has very little knowledge what to do if a ship's coming to abduct you. Run real fast. If they're coming for you, they'll go right to your house. Why? I mean, I'm not going to go into all that right now. I want to get into a few other things before I go back on anything I said. We have serious things happening to us right now. All right? We have the weather conditioning, which is really bad, and it's going to get worse in the next few years, incredibly worse. The earthquakes are going off. As of the past 2 years, we have 5.0 every day. Before that, we had one a week. Now we have at least one a day, and one a week, and sometimes 2 and 3 a day. And then we're going up to 6.9, 7.1 over the past couple months. So the Earth's reacting to what's going on. Now, the HARP system draws energy out of the Earth. Pull up a couple books, read about it. You'll get some more information, which I don't want to go over right now. All right. I'm trying to wake you up to the truth. and how to find it, how to deal with it, understand it. What does it mean? All right. The first thing you got to do is to, like, I'm on the spiritual side. What do you want out of life? What are you going to do to attain it? Where are you going to go? Who's going to teach you? Where are you going to get that knowledge? All right, you're not going to get it. Nobody out there is going to give it to you. Now, the new phase, wrong word. New thing is accepting aliens as friends and teachers and healers and all those kind of words. Like it's beneficial to work with them, talk to them. That is pretty weird. I just had a person on my show. If you go back on YouTube, both my shows, not the last show I did, the one before that, I had a person on talking about building a complex for aliens. Not for people, for aliens. It's going to cost millions of dollars, which they have. It should be done by 2030. I mean, he really thinks we're going to just make it to 2030. Okay. All right. I had him on. I was debating him. My co-host was asking him questions. He goes, I'll answer more questions. I said, I don't need your answers. You don't know much about aliens. You don't know much about the things that are important. And you're going to build a station complex here on the planet in Canada for them to go to. And who's going to tell them to come down there to talk to anybody or go down there? For what reason? Michael Sala created a place in Hawaii for aliens to land and come. Are they going to come here? They're here, but they're not going to land on that spot that he dedicated. Why? Do people really think they could tell aliens what to do? Well, I'm going to build your city and you have to land there. Really? Well, the president did create a group, two people, to work on communication with aliens when they come, which is another fake story. So learning where the fake stories come from, who puts the fake stories out, and why they want you to believe them. Aliens are real, people. You don't have to believe me. You'll find out soon enough as well. Bigfoot's real. Entities are real. Creatures are real. Demons are real. All right? Just because you don't see them, don't mean they don't play with you, play with your mind. Why do people get drunk? Why do people kill people? Why do people do the things they do? There was a special on about children, what they do. Little children that haven't been programmed in any great way to do horrible things. All right. I'm doing a show because I'm so sick of the garbage, the junk, the stories that are out there. And people believe it. People accept it. People think aliens are going to come here and help them. Help you what? They gave Tesla knowledge, which is not beneficial to the human race. It actually gave problems to the planet, which is helping destroy it. Do you want to hear that story or no? No, it's really the most important UFO story there is to tell. But outside of that, look up Phil Schneider and UFOs and aliens. Check out his story. What happened to him? All right. Are you going to sit down and listen? Yeah, I will be doing my UFO show on Tuesday. All right, which is tomorrow. But this is just a show because I'm just so frustrated with what's going on, what people believe, what people are doing. Wasting money. Gates, Musk, what are they spending all that money on? What do they think is going to happen? Mr. Gates said he's going to buy all the farms, eliminate cows, and create synthetic meat. Well, that sounds good. In the interim, Gates is what considered the richest person on the planet now. And then we got, I can't even say Oz, whatever, Ozas, or what, who knows. But he's the second richest person. Then we got Musk. And Musk is going to put 1-2 million people on Mars in the next couple of years. First off, why? Why would you want to do that? Why would you talk about things? He knows nothing about aliens and everything else because he wouldn't be worried about doing that if he knew what was going on with the governments. Even Putin spoke about it, people, on Russian TV. 6 months, 5 or 6 months before Trump was elected, he said, I want Trump to come out and tell the truth about this, about 9/11, about aliens, about UFOs, the whole thing. And when Trump met Putin, the next day he creates the space army. Well, he said he created the space army. It was there, but he named it. All right. Now, how much money do they get in a year? We're in a deficit. We're poor. Oh, China money and all that. We can plead bankruptcy just like everybody else can. Tell them to go shove it. But here's the thing. We do have money. We're spending $720 billion on the war program. It's a combination of the space program, the war program. Guess what weapons they're making? Do you have a clue? They don't talk about that. And the UFO world wants to expose what the government is doing. The secret missions and secret programs that the U.S. government had were secret for a reason, people. Are you part of the United States? If you don't like it, leave it. Go somewhere else. I mean, I'm having a hard time on this planet, but I'm in the United States and I have to deal with it. Jesus said, if the laws are not the way you want them to be, change them. But as long as they are the laws, you have to live by them. We have to live by the laws here. We go to jail, get killed, whatever. Do you understand that? Who creates laws? Rich people. Who created the Constitution? The Native people. Who stole the Constitution? Rich people. What did they do with the Constitution? Make laws about rich people. It was all to keep poor people from voting and getting involved with the real situation. And you say they're not prejudiced. The Native people were outlawed from the Constitution. Do you know that? They weren't allowed. They were considered government property. They weren't allowed to use public utilities. That's why the reservations didn't have gas and electric and all the other nice conveniences that most normal people have. All right. Are you following me? I'm not just making up stories. I can go into all the things I saw. It was next to touch, stopped. Possession is escalated to an incredibly high number. Seriously. The Pope hired 1.5 thousand people 2 years ago to do exorcisms, and they didn't even have to be Catholic. Why? Think about it. I can't give you all the answers in the time frame. I'd have to talk for a year to give you all the information that I'm dealing with right now. You need to go into these things, whatever turns you on, whatever you need to know. Search it out. The answers are there if you look hard enough. I mean, when we were young, we had to go to the library all the time. Now you just click on the internet, you get whatever you want. Well, you get a lot of the lies too. All right. Which you don't want. All right. Let's go further. The weather's changing. And was it Gates? No, not Gates. Who was the one that came out with Al Gore? He came out and said, global warming. He was paid to say that. That became his mission. He became a multimillionaire because of that. But what does it mean? Everything they talk about is the smallest part of the problem. It's like taking an equation and just taking the smallest numbers like 1 and 2 away from the problem. Can you solve the problem? Of course not. But here's the thing. When they took away half of the information that was important and fed us the garbage, where do you think we're going? What do you think's being accomplished? Pollution. Now, I mean, those stories are so sickening if you know the truth behind them. Children in schools were raising money to buy the coupons that corporations could buy to pollute. The only thing different was every time the children bought more coupons so the company's going to get them, the government just printed more. Think about it. I'll tell you another horrible thing. You know what you put in your mouth? Water. You know why they say they put fluoride in it, right? To help your teeth. Fluoride is a poison. So what else did they put in the water? Chlorine. Chlorine's a poison. What do you get when you put them together? Chlorofluorocarbons inside your body. All right. The only reason why they did that because after World War II they had tons and tons of barrels of fluoride, and it was illegal to dump it anywhere. So the government says, "Hey, go out and create a way that we can use this and get rid of it." If you have noticed, the past 5 years they've been starting to take fluoride out of a lot of things, out of toothpaste, out of mouthwash. Some still have it because these companies have so much of it, they got to get rid of it as well. Are you listening? If not, that's your truth. That's your truth. That's your mission to find out what you want to listen to and what you don't. But if you don't want to listen, you shouldn't be here. If you're not ready for the truth, you also don't need to be here. If you're afraid to hear the truth, you shouldn't be here at all. So I'm going to tell you a lot of things in a little bit of time that I'm going to be on now. People don't care about people. People don't care about children. People use the word love for an answer for all things, which it's not. It doesn't solve a relationship. It doesn't solve anything. It only plays with your ego. All right? Thinking you're better than somebody else. That's ego. Are you better than a murderer? In a lot of ways you are. Why? Because there's things when you do, you create karma. Karma is probably the most important word you're going to deal with on this planet. All right? Because it means what you have to pay back, what you have to work out. You can't pay off karma. You can't pay somebody to take it. You go to a healer. Oh, I'm eliminating all your karma. No, they're not. They're taking your money. They can't do that. Every soul is responsible for what it does. Nobody else is responsible for that soul. I'm not saying you could open your awareness and say, yeah, I'm going to let you in, and then become part of the problem. But that still would be your choice to do that. Soul is eternal. All right, what's that mean? If you don't remember anything, any of your past lives, eternal doesn't mean much to you. Karma is something that we work on to get rid of before we die. All right? Depending how much karma. If you kill 2 people in your life, you're not going to get rid of it in this lifetime. Do you want me to stake my life on that? Do you want me to tell you the truth? I'm telling you. All right? If you're a Christian, read Revelations. It'll tell you there. If you're not, look around you. Look where you are. Everybody is in hell, people. This is not close to heaven. Nothing here is what goes on in heaven. Well, the heaven, the word that you use. It's called the astral plane, the mental plane, the theta plane. Okay, the soul plane, where soul actually dwells when it leaves all this lower garbage. You have the right to work it out. You have the right to make more. Usually when you're on a cycle to make more, Spirit lets you make more. You keep digging your hole as deep as you want. You're allowed to do that. See, government laws make it okay for a government to put somebody in a room and gas them to death or shock them to death. And it's okay, because he's bad. Where anywhere in history does it say they're bad people, you're allowed to kill them? Moses came out from the mountain and said, those people are demons. Kill them all. They killed, what, roughly 300 people? When he took the people away from the prison and brought them out into the desert, do you understand that story at all? He walked these people around in a circle because it wasn't that long of a distance. He had to walk them around 4 generations until the last generation was there and the first one died. And then he brought him there. He wasn't allowed in. Why do you think he wasn't allowed in? Because he was mad, angry, frustrated? Think again. The answer's right there, and I'm sure you could find it if you want to. The answers are usually there. But you can't go by what you call your heart. Oh, my heart says we should do this, we should forgive him, we should do this. You don't put yourself in a place where you don't need to be. And protection is the most important thing you can learn to have. Do you have it? Do you know you have it? From what? If somebody's driving down the street and plows over you with their car, is it okay? You'll be okay? Somebody drops a bomb on your house, you're going to be okay? Karma is what we do in life. Good or bad is building up the amount of karma that object, that situation creates. You can listen to all those speakers out there, all those so-called religious people, all those so-called Christians, Muslims, the Jewish people, all those tribes. What do you think you're going to get? More twisted facts. Now, without having a whole religion coming and shooting me or attacking me, Muslims do something very evil. So do the Christians. But you need to find that out yourself. What could it be? Well, if it has to do with sex, birth, children and women, guess what? It'll all fit into that. If you're ready to deal with that situation, are you? All right. We don't have much time to change our reality. We can. We can learn something really important, like how to get out of the body. Not to hang on to the silver cord. I'm not going to go into that. I could tell you multiple stories. But what are you really going to do now? What do you want? All right. Anybody out there, text me or Skype me on Hawksblood, HAWKSBLOOD 11 on Skype. Some things I'm about to talk off the air. I just got my YouTube site back. Many things you can't talk about. All right. I ride the wave of being right on the borderline. But I mentioned one thing during a UFO show, and I lost it for 2 weeks. And I was told, one more strike, I lose my YouTube. You lose it completely. I pay for my YouTube. I pay for my show that I'm doing right now. I'm not asking people to pay me money for it. I was going to do a workshop. I started it. I realized I don't want to ask money. Everybody says, "Oh, you're going to ask for money." No, you don't. Jesus never did. You know, llamas, they can walk around. They're not allowed to work. They're not allowed to buy things with money because they don't have any. All right. But they're not allowed to do a lot of things. And the nunnery in Buddhism is crazy. All right. What they got to do and stuff. Nothing's pleasurable. If you think the truth will lead you somewhere positive or pleasurable, you're wrong. You're going to go to a boxing match. You're going to hopefully vote for one or the other. Usually you do. Which one's a good one? Which one's a bad one? Or you like one of them, even though you know he's beating the other person up. We do things because we're not aware. All right. Until you do become aware, you're going to be creating more karma. You're not going to know when to say no, when to turn away, when to go backwards, or when to take it. So we're getting closer and closer to a war zone, closer to the death of a lot of people, which is part of Revelations. Well, that's the Bible, and we don't believe the Bible. What do you believe in? Anything? I got my own truth. We're all one. One what? One spaghetti? One pizza? You know, we program ourselves so hard, we don't look for the truth. Now, everywhere I went, everything I did, I always had problems with the people in power. All right? Not a good thing. I'm not saying it was. But they were always willing to attack. I will tell you this. This is 2022. 4 years. Musk really thinks we're going to be up on the moon. We're going to be on Mars. We're going to be dealing with these races and everything else. Yeah, we're going to be dealing with things. That's how it goes down. But are you dealing with the right things? Do you know what the right things are? Do you know why you're here? Do anybody tell me somebody why is pizza so bad in Hawaii? Because we have we don't have the best food, people. If you're like pig, yeah, this is the place to come. Their pig, when they cook it, is really good if you like pig meat. I'm not a meat eater. All right. They have a lot of vegetables they grow, but things that are really important that grow everywhere is like avocados, papayas, and they're good. People come here so they think you don't have to work and they could eat off the street. They go around stealing and taking trees, taking the fruit off of them, whatever. We don't have good cooks. We don't have good cake. We don't have good bakeries. I mean, I'm not a person in eating restaurants in Hawaii. I can't eat Thai food. It makes me sick no matter what. And all the other stuff I don't eat. Luckily, the person I'm living with is an incredible cook. All right. She made shrimp pate, or however you say it. And she made some other kind of souffle the other day. But she learned in Bali and in other countries how to cook. So, getting back to where we are. Why are you here? Why are you listening right now? What do you want to hear? What's good? There is nothing good happening. Did you hear me? All right. I want to go into a few things kind of fast if I can. Now, do you know anything about cattle mutilation? Linda Moulton Howe has been dealing with that for 40 years and she has no proof about it at all. I saw it happen twice. The third time I didn't get to see it that good. I mean, so I couldn't actually say what I actually saw. But the other two I did. So, do we got to worry about things like that? Of course we do. But in the UFO world, they shy away from all the things that sound bad. Because they want to make a convention and they want everybody to be happy because when you're happy, you'll do it and spend money. Tell everybody it's a good thing. We're going to go through UN Agenda 21. No, we're not. It's not going to be a good thing ever. Can you understand what I'm saying or not? Like I said, go on Skype. Call me on Skype, friend me, and then we'll talk there. I can't say a lot of words here. I don't want to lose my sight this fast. I mean, if I find a better place to hang out and do my shows, I will. But right now, they got a lot of good features here. It's not that expensive. All right, now my dog's going crazy. But as we move forward in our so-called journey with our truth, where's your truth getting you? Anywhere? When was the last time you saw an angel? When was the last time you saw a deity? When was the last time you died? Did you have a death experience? All right. I don't want to get into food too much because aliens use us as food as well. And if you don't believe that, that's another problem that you're going to have to learn sooner or later. Why are they here? They're going to travel across space to take you out for dinner. Right? People believe things like that. I just had to remove something in my belt and things, but we have energy around us. We put energy into things. Is it the right thing? Are any of it right for us? Beneficial for us? I doubt it. People, I'd like to say so many things, but I can't. I'm not allowed to. I'll be spanked and thrown off the air. While you're out there, go on a computer, type a word, check it out, see where that word goes, type another word, where that goes. It'll always bring you to the source of money, and it'll bring you to the truth as well. Somewhere. It's always there. There's always a piece of the truth. When we go into the Bible, it was written by man. I mean, aliens help control some of the people in the Bible, but we didn't come from aliens. Aliens didn't come from us. All right. One thing at a time, you need to prove to yourself who you are and why you're here. Once you realize it's the same thing, doesn't mean you're the same as me. You understand that this is hell, doesn't mean you're equal to me. So, with our time, do the best you can with it. You don't have much. If you can get beyond the mind, have a death experience, all right, you'll open up your awareness greatly. It only has to happen once. But are you ready? Can you? So, all the little things that we play with aren't as important as the big things we should be playing with. I will look at one more thing here. We have, let's see, we're in January, February, March. Here in Hawaii, all the whales start leaving the islands. The dolphins don't come around much anymore. But I saw a whale a couple days ago. Really cool. But we have whale boats. We have a lot of different things killing them. I mean, Greenpeace has been fighting that. And what happens to Greenpeace? They become a terrorist group. So when you try to bring the truth out, think about what it's going to affect, who it's going to affect, and what it really means. 100% truth means what to somebody that doesn't believe in your truth? Well, you need to, not I, you need to look at what is God? Why would it work with you? Wants us all to go to heaven? You think that God, if you believe in that kind of a God, wanted us all to go to heaven, it wouldn't have just put us there? Would we know how to make a nuclear bomb, atom bomb? Would we know any of this stuff? No. I'm not going to go much further, but let me just read the last one. The Ukraine war is serious, people. Call it fake, call it what you want. People are dying. People are starving. Children being separated from their family. Everything about it is not good. Turn around. Look at that picture. Look at what it's carrying. Look what its face looks like. What do you think? Why did they draw it like that? Basically, the time machine was created by Tesla. That's how the Philadelphia experiment happened. They put this giant machine on a boat, and it made the boat disappear. If you're not ready to move forward from here, don't think the government's going to give you anything that they don't have to, or what they're going to take away from you. Try to stop them. Don't let them. You know, I look at it this way. It's better to go down fighting in your own truth than somebody else's. I wouldn't want somebody to die in my truth if they didn't know that it was real or experience it. And you can if you want to. But doing it yourself without any protection, really putting yourself in a bad space. I would tell you this. I have, what time is it? Where does my clock go? All right, I got about 5 minutes left to do an hour. And I know you might be bored and say, well, I want to just know this. Well, put it up. Ask me the question. Come into Facebook. And put it there. Put the question there. Top hatter, come to there. Put it there. See what answers you get. Excuse me. My chair is the most uncomfortable chair on the planet, and I sit in it so long, moving myself every which way. Oh, it's a nightmare. We moved from the other island to here, and we had to sell the one that we just bought, which was so comfortable. Uh, People, Hawksblood 11 on Skype. HAWKSBLOOD 11. Just listen to this noise. It's crazy. It's coming from over there. It's coming from over there. It's too noisy. I live in Hawaii, and we have roosters. Dogs going off all the time. One person walks in the neighborhood at nighttime. All the dogs in the neighborhood are going off. Chickens everywhere. Roosters everywhere. Different time right now. They stop about sunset, but they start crowing again about 3 o'clock in the morning, my time. So one dog goes off, and they all go off. And it was in my square block. And I would say we have, 2 square blocks. We have about 60 dogs. How so many? It's crazy. Why would you want 6 dogs if they're all on a chain that's 3 feet long? Well, think about that, people. You got more questions? Ask me. I can get into why aliens would come here to work with us. Why would they? Think about it. You can get the answers inside yourself. Why would they want to baptize you? Why would they want to do these things? What does it really mean? Controlling your mind, controlling your money. With that, people, peace, love, compassion. Till next time. Is in the chat room. If you have a question, I'll answer it right now before I sign off. But we are in a place where we have to become much more aware of who and what we are now, not 10 years from now, not 5 years from now. We could be going to war, meaning you and me. We'll see. With that, people, I can go into a lot of things. I don't like to ramble and go on with things you don't want to hear. But hopefully you're here to hear the right things instead of the wrong things. The truth. So I will say this. Turn around, look at that mural. See what kind of person would create that. That's the kind of people that are around you. So send this video to everybody you can. I didn't get into a lot of questions because, I'm at a point where I'm so disgusted. People could ask the same question 10,000 times when they come out to it. Oh, are ships real? Or something relating to that in the physical realm. But we don't want to go there. We want to stay on tune, in track, following it. Not because it's the smallest path to take, because it's the only real path. And usually that just means you're on it. All right, people. Tommy Hawksblood. Skype me, Hawksblood11. Till next time.